Hey everybody, there's a lot going on today. This has to do with Measure AA, and I'm going to wait for some people to come in because I want people to hear the statement. But in fact, while I am waiting for you, I'm going to do one quick thing here. Hey everybody, how you doing? Okay, so Measure AA failed in court yesterday. And if you're wondering what Measure AA is, let me explain. First of all, it is in California, we have something called an initiative process. And theoretically, hey, welcome to Zenny 62. Theoretically, anybody who has an idea for a law, no matter how outlandish or no matter how needed, can get enough. If you can get enough signatures, and if the California Attorney General's office gives you the thumbs up, you can establish something that goes on the ballot, a way to vote on us on your law idea that goes on the ballot for an election year. And if you get enough votes, guess what? Your idea becomes law. That was the case for Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf and an idea called the Oakland Promise. Now, I've known Libby for 32 years. And throughout that time, she has devoted much of her existence, adult existence, I think it's fair to say, to working on nonprofit causes that help in Oakland. She was born in Oakland, lives in Oakland, that help low-income kids, and particularly black kids, okay, and families, get the help they need. And I remember she got me involved in something called Oakland Cares, and that was a long time ago. I believe it was 1992, as we were talking a couple weeks ago about when all that came about. And she reminded me that I gave away to another program, but the Oakland Promise is an outgrowth of the mayor's personal interest in getting rid of the problem of someone not being able to attend college because they don't have money because they're black. And that really is how Libby ticks, okay? So the downside of that is when Libby became mayor, and it's not the downside, but it was one of her linchpin programs. Really, arguably her linchpin program. That's it, okay? Everything she did was for the Oakland Promise. She got Tom Steyer, who's running for president, to put in $500,000. However, someone alleged that there was a sort of a deal made where Steyer said, look, I'll put money into that if you spearhead a lawsuit against big oil companies, because Steyer believes that the big oil companies are responsible for global warming. If you believe that, I've got some swampland in Florida to save for you, but that's another story. Because the reality is more complicated than that. But I digress. But that was the deal. That was ostensibly or reportedly the deal that they made. Regardless, the one fact is that Steyer put $500,000 of his own money into the Oakland Promise program. And in total, the Oakland Promise program has raised $61 million. But for her goals and objectives, she wanted something that lasted beyond her. And the one way to guarantee that was to have a parcel tax that paid into this program that would last beyond her time as mayor. So she took that to the ballot, went through the process with the city's help because she's the mayor, and it was put on the ballot, something called Measure AA. That happened November 2018, same time she was being reelected as mayor. At least something happened. In California, you are supposed to get, for such measures, 66% of the vote. Not 60, not 51%, 50-50, right? Not 51%, not a simple majority, no. 66%, or basically 2/3 vote, okay? The final tally for Measure AA was 62%, which means it missed becoming law in Oakland by just 4 percentage votes. Proponents of Measure AA were flabbergasted. Absolutely. And the reason that I wasn't, you asked me, was I a proponent? No, I wasn't, because I feel that money gained from a parcel tax should be used to solve our homeless problem and all of the problems in the value chain of life in Oakland that contribute to it. That's another story. But for those of you wondering, I just want to get that out of the way. It's not that I don't think the Oakland Promise is a great program or idea. I do, but I didn't agree with that specific thing to do, okay? Just getting that out of the way. That's all I'm saying. And the way it was done, okay? But rather than go back to the drawing board, Libby and the proponents of the program basically fought to get, and the council voted basically to say, hey, this, except they had detractors like Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan, but basically to say, hey, you know what? This is law anyway. As Larry Reed once told me, look, we believe in this. As far as we're concerned, we got the number of votes. It was 62% really, but that 4 percentage vote didn't matter. But really what this was the mayor's primal scream of being upset over that 4% of Oaklanders that didn't go with her program. So what happened, not surprisingly, is it lost in court. And the judge basically called the whole thing a fiasco. Today, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf issued this statement, and as I'm told by her staff, it reads, to be clear, this is her personal statement, okay? Any legal strategies or decisions on the case should be referred to the city attorney's office. I repeat, to be clear, this is Libby Schaaf's personal statement. Any legal strategies or decisions on the case should be referred to the Oakland City Attorney's Office. Now here's Mayor Schaaf's statement. My fight to send more low-income kids from Oakland to preschool and college won't stop today. While I'm disappointed with the trial court's ruling, I will continue to support all legal efforts to make preschool and higher education a right for every child from Oakland. And that's what she was trying to do. So, I mean, it really was and is a just cause. But you have to say, well, what's the best? The question is, what's the best other way to get at it? Because I understand what Libby is trying to do. And I think the best other way is on a state level, because to call for the reinstallation of redevelopment and for the city to use part of its tax increment financing money specifically for this objective, okay? Which we could have done if redevelopment had remained in place. But I think that we also have to start asking the hard question, and that is this really the right way to get at that problem? My answer is no. Because look, you and I both know, if you live in Oakland, the housing is not cheap. I repeat, you and I both know, if you live in Oakland, the housing is not cheap. So I think what Oakland's strategy should be is one part set aside for schools in the future. The other part, for those who want to apply for those set-asides, right? The other part reduction of the cost of living in Oakland right now, across the board. In every way that we can make Oakland a more inexpensive city to live in, we should do it. Better public transit, less expensive food to buy, free food whenever possible, and much inexpensive housing, including we need, by my estimation, at least 10, I would say 7,000 units. 7,000 units, I repeat, 7,000 units of very, or extremely, if you like, low-income housing. That's what we need. So anyway, we can talk more about that, but I want to make sure that the mayor's statement gets out there. Also, I got a statement from Oakland City Council President Rebecca Kaplan, who explained this as follows. She said, specifically, that I just had it here. I apologize, folks. It was from her chief of staff. There it is. Council President Kaplan re-releases statement on settling Measure AA. Council President Kaplan attached the contents. She said that she wrote and shared last spring in urging a better way forward. And she said the litigation outcome appears to be in alignment with the points that she previously raised. Kaplan also urged her colleagues last spring not to collect the tax. The council voted for Kaplan's proposal despite heavy pressure to collect the tax during the ongoing litigation. Given the outcome of a summary judgment in favor of the plaintiff on all counts, and she's got the links to the court documents there, it is a good thing that the city has not already collected a bunch of taxes, because we would have to give them back, okay? President Kaplan stated, in light of the ruling, I am thankful that the city is now not wasting vast sums of money and trouble in having to deal with a refunding process. So there you go. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with more. Please subscribe to Zinni62 on YouTube.